of the most important places to start when choosing songs for your church to sing together is lyrical content. Think about what the song is saying. What is the song teaching? Is it biblically accurate? If not, don't use it. It doesn't matter if it's the number one song on Christian radio. If it's not 100% biblically accurate, it's not suitable for congregational worship. If a line or two is questionable, have your pastor or other ministry leaders help you to determine if the song is suitable to sing together. It's incredible to think about that what we sing together as a church helps to shape our view of God, His plan, and our role in that plan. So let's make sure that what we sing is accurate according to His Word. It's really interesting to me how much debate revolves around singing hymns versus newer songs. There have been church splits over the subject, for goodness sake. My personal opinion is that if you land 100% in either camp, you're missing significant pieces of the puzzle. There's definitely some rich heritage in many of the songs that have been passed down in the church from generation to generation, but they're not all gold. The same goes for songs written more recently. There are some amazing songs with deep scriptural truths and congregationally friendly melodies, and there are some that have been written that don't fit either of those descriptions. A big part of your job as a worship leader is to sift through the masses of resources available to us today to find the right songs that are biblically accurate, easy for people to sing, and fits in the context of your church's culture and demographic. This can be a difficult ongoing task, especially if you have many different demographics represented in your congregation. It also can be experimental at times, as some songs work better in one congregation than it might in another. But the intentionality and diligence of this effort can be very rewarding. When you find or write songs that connect with the people you are leading, it's evident. This next part is based on a concept I first heard years ago from a worship leader named Andy Rozier from Vertical Church Worship in Chicago. Not all things I've been taught resonate with me, but this one stuck. The concept is basically to evaluate the songs in your song list and give them a rating of 1 through 5. A 1 is some sort of opening song. It can be a song that serves as a call to worship, either an invitation to the congregation or the Spirit of God. Tempo-wise, this could be fast or slow, it doesn't matter. What you want to evaluate are the song lyrics. Do they serve as some sort of invitation or fitting starting place for congregational worship? Examples of 1s would be Open Up the Heavens by Vertical Worship, Holy Spirit by Brian and Katie Torwalt, or One Thirst by Bethel. A 3 is a testimonial song. This is the category that holds the most modern worship songs. It can be a song of who God is and what He's done, but mostly it's speaking about how we feel about God or how He's changed our life. Some examples of 3s would be Here I Am to Worship by Tim Hughes, Christ is Enough by Hillsong, or How He Loves by John Mark McMillan. A 5 is what Andy would call a vertical song. It's purely to God or about God. Our feelings about Him aren't usually included in 5s. 5s are much harder to find. We're looking for pure ascription of who God is and what He's done. Some people refer to this as throne room worship. A few examples of 5s would be Revelation Song by Jenny Lee Riddle, Holy by Matt Redman, or What a Beautiful Name by Hillsong, minus the second verse. The value of categorizing songs is that it helps to define your destination. I suppose this would be a subjective thing, but most Christians would agree that one of the main goals when worshiping God is to get our eyes off of ourselves and put all of our attention on God, who He is, and what He's done. If that's the end goal, then our final song destination would be a 5. That said, the last thing we want to do is be formulaic when choosing songs. That doesn't mean we have to start with a 1 and then chronologically work our way to a 5. It's just something to keep in mind when choosing songs and choosing the order of songs. Starting with a 5 may be totally appropriate, but it might be a little odd to put a call to worship song at the end. Welcome to Intentional Worship Leader. This virtual school is all about growing in skill and knowledge of leading people in worship to our God through Jesus Christ. Oftentimes, the first thing we think about in worship leadership is musical skill, but there's so much more beyond the music that needs to be developed if we want to truly lead a group of people in worship. I've created a progressive 3-part course that will reveal many of the most important secrets I've learned over the past 15 plus years of leading worship, reading numerous books, attending countless worship conferences, and graduating from a worship leader school. I think many of us worship leaders need to guard ourselves from the song or the performance being the end goal. This course is meant to expand what we're striving for when we prepare to lead a congregation in biblical worship. The first course is foundational to make sure the right pieces are in place before moving on to the second course. It is geared towards the newer worship leader, but is still worth a look, even for those who have been leading worship for a while. The second course is specifically focused on how to build a worshipful atmosphere for congregational gatherings and intentionally lead people on a journey of remembering who God is, what He's done, and how to respond appropriately as a church. And then, the third course builds on the first 2 courses and gives insight on how to create longevity for yourself as a worship leader and how to build a sustainable worship ministry in your church. The full courses are available by clicking the link in the description, but there will also be some additional content created that will only be available on this channel. So if you find the videos on this channel useful, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on future content. I'd love to have you join us in this journey of growing in our abilities and effectiveness to be a more intentional worship leader.